Alright, hey there guys. Decided I'm gonna do a fancier version of this when I get my camera and stuff. So, you guys pop in the stream, I'll answer questions and stuff. So that this is just for you guys who want to know this a bit earlier, what I think about the bronzes. The bronzes. Since we don't know how the drafting system's gonna work this, some bronzes are actually gonna be pretty decent, I think. Like, golds, I think silvers so far like the best draft over golds, because there's just so many golds that can just end up dead, and at least silvers you got power, so the four choices are going to be way different. But we'll get into these. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them, but well, most of them at least. There's a lot of brown. Stammelford's Tremor, deal 1 damage to all enemies. I mean, not the best bronze you can draft for sure, unless you get an Ithlin. If it was the way it used to work, it would be alright, but now it's like, yeah, deal 1 damage. It's gonna only punish those guys who got a swarming draft. Zer's Thunder, deal 9 damage. Decent removal card. I mean, if you haven't gotten too much removal yet, definitely pick this up, because engines, if anybody drafts engines, you're gonna want at least one of these in your deck, along with a mage probably, because it's a bit safer. That's basically all it's for. Then we got Biting Frost. Even if you're going for a weather deck, I don't think I'd draft this unless I got a Frost Hound beforehand. Dog. Yeah, because weather, clear skies. First light. Here we go. Here's one that kills weather. Choose one, boost all damage allies under hazard by 2, and clear all hazards from your side, or play a random bronze unit from your deck. This is actually a decent draft, because I mean, it filters you out of bronze, and then it's the backup weather clear for people who are going to try to run weather at the beginning of a draft. Probably going to run into a couple weather decks now and then, but I mean, if you have things like First Light and Mages, you're just going to completely shut it down. Impenetrable Fog, apply a hazard to an enemy row that deals 2 damage to the highest units on turn start. It's like Biting Frost, but worse, because at least Biting Frost you can draft some things with it that kind of go with it. This, all you're going to be able to get is like a Foglet. Adrenaline Rush, toggle unit's resilience status. No, that's a 0 tempo play. That's getting you nowhere. Sure, it gets you some carryover, but you pretty much have to guarantee yourself to win round 1, or use it round 2 when you're trying to bleed them out, I guess, but it's definitely not one of the better drafts. Along with Epidemic, destroy all the lowest units. That's crap. Swallow, boost unit by 10. 10 power bronze, not too bad. It's alright. Not the best, but not the worst. I think Thunderbolt. I think Swallow might be better than Thunderbolt, just because Thunderbolt is 9 and does give you that 2 armor on everything. But I guess it keeps you safe from weather stuff for like a turn or two, so Thunderbolt's probably a bit better than Swallow. DM Shackles, toggle units lock, and if an enemy deal 4 damage to it. 4 damage is not much, and locking unit not that important. Along with Torrential Rain, because it's a weather card. Falls in the same category as the other weather cards. Mardrome, choose one and reset a unit by 3, or reset a unit and weaken it by 3. I guess if you don't have a better choice, because you can always hope that you could get use out of it for taking care of one of your opponent's boosted cards, or for one of your damaged cards. So it can be alright, since it has that multiple choice, but it's just alright. There's a lot of alright bronzes, along with Wyvern Scale Shield. Boost the unit by a base power of a bronze or silver unit in your hand. If you drafted a Manticore or something, because that can happen in draft mode, I mean, then I'd pick one of these up, because that's just another 13 power play on your card. Of course, then you had, because somebody might have got stuck with one of those, but it's an alright card. Lacerate, definitely good. Deal 3 damage to all units on a row. I like this card. If you hit 3 units, it's a 9. If you hit 4, it's a 12. So, and it punishes swarming, so I like that one. Peter's Filter, here's a easier one to pull off. Boost up to 6 random enemies by 2. Get 6 units out, it's 12 power bronze. It's pretty good. Shrike, it's the opposite of the filter. Deal 2 damage up to 6 random enemies. 2 damage isn't that important, but it's another 12 power bronze. It's not too hard to pull off. Blood Curdling Roar, destroy an ally, spawn a bear. Still horrible because you gotta destroy something and you get an 11 power bear, which isn't much. Even if you destroy 1 power unit, it's a 10 power bronze. Arrakis Venom's pretty good, deal 4 damage to up to 3 adjacent units. That's another 12 power bronze right there. Moonlight, choose one, apply a full moon boon or apply a blood moon hazard. If you had to pick up a siren, maybe. But I mean, it's kind of nice because it has the boon and the hazard, so you could actually delete opponent's weather with this, like their Skellige Storm or something, and replace it with a boon. But it's not that great of a draft overall. Crow's Eye. Actually not too bad because people are going to try to not line up their rows, most likely. So, I mean, this is a 12 power bronze even with one of them. And if you manage to draft 2 of them, then that's great, but one of them's pretty good. Mahakamail's great 12 power bronze again, and easy to pull off. Just have to have a unit on each row and you got 12 power. Beast Talisman, resurrect a bronze or curse cultist or heal and ally and strengthen it by 3. This thing, ugh. Heal an ally and strengthen it by 3, not that great. I mean, I guess if you had a couple cultists and you don't have anything better to pick up, but this thing's just really only good in that Skellige Marauders deck. Ultimate, return a bronze unit, resurrect a bronze unit with 5 power or less. This card's gonna be good. As long as you drafted a couple like lower units that have good effects, like that one that spawns a random Scully Told card that's not in your starting deck, that card will be good. There's quite a few lower power bronzes, like this thing would be able to resurrect, so you're probably bound to draft at least one of them. And then this card gets you more value on that. Doppler, create a bronze unit from your faction. Well, since you pick your leader at the end, I guess you could pick the best leader. And the question is, who would the best leader be to pick if you pick up a Doppler? Probably something like Skellige or Scullytoll, because they have Hawker Smugglers and stuff. I'd probably go, if I picked up some Dopplers, I'd probably go with the Scullytoll leader, because Hawker Smugglers, Vrahid Warriors, and Farseers and stuff like that are probably going to be really good. Bloody Flail, deal 5 damage and spawn a Spectre on a random row. 10 power bronze, and 5 damage doesn't do you much. At least it's a cursed unit, I guess, but that doesn't really matter. Elven Blade, deal 10 damage to a non-elf unit. This card will be pretty good in draft mode. Better than Elzur's Thunder, because the only thing you can't ping off are elves. So, I guess maybe Elzur's Thunder would be a bit better, because a lot of the annoying engine cards are elf cards. Vrahid, Hawker Smuggler, Dragoons, Farseers, they're all elves. That elven tag might actually matter. But if it can take care of anything else, and it's one more point than Elzur's Thunder, though I'd probably pick up Elzur's Thunder over it just because then I can deal with Vrahid, all those elf cards. Crushing Trap, deal 6 damage to units at the end of an enemy row. These are things that you're going to have to play around in draft mode. Cards like Crushing Trap and Milva and stuff, things that do damage to your units at the end of rows. This card might not be too bad, but it's going to be harder to pull off if people are playing around it. Because, I mean, best case is 12 power, and that's really good. But worst case, they set up a 1 on one end and then like a 6 or something on another. Then you just get like nothing out of it. Rock Barrage. It's not called Boulder. Deal 7 damage to an enemy and move it to the row above. If the row is full, destroy the enemy instead. Pretty cool. Not the best. It's 7 damage and moves something. It's alright. I don't think people are going to be really hitting row limits in draft mode, so probably not going to be able to use that secondary effect. Mastercrafted Spear, deal damage equal to the base power of bronze or silver unit in your hand. Here we go. This thing, if you drafted a couple higher power units, this thing's better than Elzur's Thunder. It depends on how your draft's going though, because you need the higher power units for it to be useful. I mean, if you got like some Manticores or Botchlings or something, then yeah, this thing, or the Nilfgaardian Knight, this thing would be better than Elzur's Thunder. Winch, create a bronze Northern Realms machine. Well, you know, all the bronze Northern Realms machines are pretty decent, but they're not the best on their own without crewmen, so you could hope for a battering ram or a ballista to get some decent value. Pretty much just battering ram. The other ones you kind of want a crewman or you want Hensel to pull off that cheesy combo. Reconnaissance, look at 2 bronze units in your deck and play one. This one's pretty good. It's more safe pick like Last Wish, because you look at 2 bronze units and then get to pick one. But you're going to have to be careful with how many of these type of things you craft, because you want to keep track of how many bronze units you actually have, or else you're going to have too much thinning and then you're just not going to be able to grab anything with it. Spores deal 2 damage to all units on a row and clear a boon from it. Yeah. I guess it clears boons, but it's not that great. It's a crappier lacerate in most cases. I mean, but you would be happy to have this for that guy who drafted something like Golden Froth or Blood Moon. Apply a boon to an allied row that boosts 2 random units by 1 on turn start. It's so slow. Like getting 2 power per turn, you'd have to play for at least 6 turns to get a decent value out of it. So you need it in like your starting hand round 1, and then you have to hope that they don't clear it, so nope. Peasant Militia, spawn 3 peasants on a row. If you're going for a swarming deck, yeah. If it's looking like you got things that are good in a swarming deck, you got some ways to deal with Hawker Smugglers, I'd pick it up. I mean, it's 9 power, but then it's 3 units. Reaver Scout, choose a different bronze ally and play a copy of it from your deck. Probably not the best, because you're probably not going to see... Because there's a lot of different bronzes, so you're going to need 2 of the same exact one for this guy to even have a chance. And you might see doubles, 1 double, but not like multiples, so he's definitely not good. Elven Mercenary, look at 2 random bronze special cards from your deck and play 1. Pretty good filtering. If you get a bronze special, definitely good. Elven Mercenary is always good. Denim Pirate Captain, play a different bronze Denim unit from your deck. See, things like this would suck to draft if your 4 choices are something like Reaver Scout, Priest of Freya, Denim, and the Dwarven Agitator. I'd be pretty mad. Because Denim unit, you need a Denim unit, and there's not too many of them. Priest of Freya, resurrect a bronze soldier. If you got some soldiers, sure, she can be pretty good. Because there's a decent amount of soldiers if you count all the archetypes, especially in like Nilfgaard. You got Nilfgaardian Knight and stuff that can help you out. So, she might not be too bad if you got some soldiers. She'd be pretty good. Probably one of the best resin cards next to Vivicar of a Medic, of course. This guy's going to be amazing. Resurrect a bronze unit from your opponent's graveyard. You get to take the non-crappy bronze that they drafted and use it. That's good. That's one of the top bronzes to draft, probably. Assassin, deal 10 damage to the unit to the left. I mean, if you really need that removal, I'd go for it, but it's basically Elzur's Thunder with 1, because you technically do 9 damage since you give them 1 power. But I guess if you really need that removal, because it'll take care of something. Tursek Beastmaster, spawn a bear. He's what, 12? Right? Yeah, 12. He's not too bad. Especially if you pick up a Restore, then this guy's just insane. Or a Priest of Freya. He's a pretty good one. Dwarven Agitator's crap, because you need dwarfs. I guess if you draft 2 different dwarfs, you might want to risk it if you actually get good ones, but dwarfs aren't that great. I mean, you got the Malcolm Guard and Dwarven Skirmisher and the Dwarven not Dwarven Agitator, the Dwarven Mercenary. Those are pretty much the only good ones. Vendel Elite, switch this unit with that of a revealed unit. This is too hard to pull off. Unless you got the Cynthia combo. Like, I might take it if I'd actually pulled the Cynthia. Just for try to have fun. Because if you reveal their highest unit and it's not disloyal, then this thing can be pretty annoying. And gonna shut down whatever big power card they had, and they're gonna have to throw it back. But I definitely wouldn't take it without a Cynthia or a bunch of reveal, because this thing's gonna be dead drop 1 power a lot of times. Slave Driver, create a bronze unit from opponent's starting deck. He's great. He's 1 power, and you get a choice of 3 different units, but they're non-unique anymore. So you probably could see something decent. He'd probably be pretty good. Not as good as a medic, but he'd be alright. Recruit, play a different bronze soldier from your deck. Only if you have to, and only if you have soldiers. It'll filter out a soldier. It's 1 power. It's alright. It's just like the Dwarven Agitator, just easier to actually get cards for it. Because soldiers, there's more soldiers than there are dwarfs. Elven Scout, create a bronze Scully Toll unit that is not in your starting deck. This thing's gonna be awesome. Elven Scout is gonna be definitely, I mean, as long as you don't draft all the good Scully Toll bronzes, like Hawker, Smuggler, stuff like that, then yeah, this thing net you a lot of value. Most cases, because I mean, even if you get a Necrophyte, that's 11 power plus 2 in your hand. Look at 2 random bronze alchemy cards from your deck, then play one. Vivicarvo Novice, if you have alchemy cards, if you drafted like 2 or 3 maybe, I'd pick them up, but besides that, no. Spying, look at 2 random bronze units from your deck, then play one. The fact that you get to look at 2 is kind of nice, but you do lose 2 power on the bronze that you're pulling, so that makes it pretty crappy. Ambassador, spying boost an ally by 12. It's basically a 10 power bronze that runs a high risk since you boost your unit. So then people can reset it. So I definitely wouldn't take it, along with the Stalblathana Sentry. If in hand, deck, or on board, boost self by 1 whenever you play a special card. You need a lot of special cards before this thing starts pulling you value. Sage, resurrect a bronze alchemy or spell card, then banish it. This thing will be pretty good if you draft like a couple Peter's filters, Maacamails, stuff like that. Or Ointment. You could play an Ointment, resurrect your best bronze, Sage it, play a Ointment again, and then resurrect another good bronze. So Sage would probably be pretty good if you just pull like a Maacamail, Ointment, or Filter, or even Swallow Potion wouldn't be too bad with him. I'd probably pick him up. Haymay Protector, play a bronze item from your deck. Items, there's less items and there's not even that many good items, so no, he's crappy. Haymay Spear Maiden, deal 1 damage to machine or soldier ally, then play a copy of it from your deck. Machine or soldier, I mean, you need 2 of them. It's just like the Reaver Scout. It sucks because you need duplicates for it to work in the first place, along with Slizzard, because you need duplicates. You need to consume the one and then play another one from your deck. Like, you need, for either of these, any of these type of cards to be good, you need like at least three sets of duplicates, and that's probably never going to happen. Tormented Mage, look at 2 bronze spells or items from your deck, then play one. He searches out spells and items. Just the spell tag is pretty good because you got Maacamail and Thunderbolt Potion and stuff. And Ointment's an item, so that's not too bad. A lot of the goods, he searched out a lot of the good bronze special type cards that you can get. Blue Stripe Scout sucks because he's a 3 power. 4 power because he boosts himself. And Blue Stripes Commando, same thing because you need Tamarian with 3 power, and you don't want to be drafting those in the first place. Along with Tamarian Infantry because you need to summon all copies of this unit. So you need multiple ones of these. Oh my god, the bronzes, like, so far you have a really high chance of being not pulling a good bronze. Racket's Drone, summon all copies of this unit. Nope. Imperial Golem, summon a copy of this unit whenever it's easier to pull off than the rest of them. Because you just have to reveal a card. But you still need like an Alchemist, Vader, or something that's going to reveal before this guy even gets you value. I mean, if I didn't have any reveal cards left and my choices were between like Blue Stripe Scout, Racket's Drone, and stuff, I'd pick them up just in hopes that I did get a reveal card. Or even if I needed to, I could end up picking Morin, the leader Morin, because then if I see like Vandal Elites and stuff, I'd grab them. But that's only if we actually get to pick from non-RNG leaders. War Dancer, whenever you swap this unit play on a random row, amazing. Instant, you can't drive past me, for the most part, unless they're running carryover. This, and you just mulligan it away, and it's 3 power. It's great. Blue Mountain Elite, summon all copies of this unit. Whenever this unit is moved, boost self by 2. Yeah, it's a 3 power. It's gonna suck, but I mean, at least you can boost it up when you move it. Sealed Maiden, they killed this card. Summon all copies of this unit. No, get out of here with your 3 power summoning. Elba Spear Pikeman, summon all copies of this unit. No. No, no, no. Wild Hunt Navigator. Choose a non-mage Wild Hunt ally and play a copy of it from your deck. You need the Wild Hunt. You need a copy. Not gonna work. None of these 3 powers are gonna work. Play a bronze, random bronze hazard from your deck. If you're going with a weather deck, here's a 3 power that has somewhat of a use. That's not at least total crap. If you're going with a weather deck and you're just praying that people don't run clear skies and stuff, so yeah. A lot of these 3 powers are really bad. Magni Division, play a random bronze item from your deck. You need a bronze item, and the bronze item has to be something worth grabbing. I guess if you have an ointment, I'd pick them up. Hey Me Herbalist, play a random bronze organic or hazard card from your deck. This one's better than the Zero Adept, because you can at least filter from organic and hazard. So that's pretty good. Not pretty good, just alright. I mean, if you pick up a Arachis Venom or Ointment or something... Oh no, Ointment's not organic. Arachis Venom Marjoram or something like that, yeah, she'll get you some decent value. It's like a 15 power play with Arachis Venom, I like that. Or Doppler. Witch Hunter, reset a unit. If it's a mage, play a copy of this unit from your deck. It's a reset card with +3. It's basically a Marjoram. That's what you gotta think of it as, because instead of taking away the 3 power, you add 3 power and reset it. Not too bad. It's as good as a Marjoram. Resurrect a Bronze Machine. Dimum Corsair. There's a decent amount of machines if you count Nilfgaard, Northern Realms, and Skellige. So you could actually draft a couple machines maybe. And this guy wouldn't be too bad. Especially with like warships and stuff. +3 on your machine. That's good. Or Whale Harpooner. Like Skellige has the best machines that are just normal machines. Because Nilfgaard, well, you got the one that when you reveal card does 2 damage. Mock and Volunteer, summon all copies of this unit. Nope. Slave Infantry, spawn a doomed default copy of this unit on your other rows. Really good at swarming. 9 power, not too bad. You get 3 units. It's a peasant, only it goes up and down instead of side to side. Dun Banner, if you're losing by more than 20 on turn start, summon this unit. I guess it makes you only 16 behind instead of 20, so it's not like you get 16 power when these guys come out. But it's definitely not the best draft, but I mean, as we see with a lot of these 3 powers and a lot of these bronzes, it could be the best thing you could have a choice for, and that's kind of sad. Foglet. Yeah, you need the fog, but you could always pick up Dagon, I guess. No. Same with Neckers. You have to consume a bunch of things before this guy starts getting you value. It's not going to work. Ghoul. Here's a good one. Consume a bronze or silver unit from your graveyard and boost self by its power. You're probably bound to end up with a higher powered bronze or silver. And then this guy gives you +4 on it. That's good. This is a good card. Harpies. Summon a copy of this unit whenever you destroy an allied beast. No. Oh, maybe that's the point of Wild Boar. That Wild Boar Skellige card, if you draft that, and you play them, and you destroy a 1 power beast, like a Harpy Hatchling, and then you get this thing out of your deck. It's like your best case. Wild Hunt Hound, play Biting Frost from your deck. You need the Biting Frost. If you get lucky enough to draft a Wild Hunt Hound and a Biting Frost, or if you're just planning on going for a weather deck, like you got a bunch of weather support or something somehow, and you want to hopefully pick up the Biting Frost, you might as well risk it. That's so hard to pull off cards like this. They need 2 cards, 2 specific cards. Mock Guard, boost an ally by 7. 11 point bronze, not too bad. You boost, so you're more risky, but I mean, it could save something. Like if they don't have the Zac damage to deal with one of your engines, you can boost it back up and save it. Not that bad. A lot better than a lot of these choices. Queen's Guard. Resurrect all copies of this unit. You need a lot of this unit. And Crate Raider, whenever you discard this unit, resurrect it. You could go for King Braun in the end if you picked up like a Wolfsbane and Crate Raider and stuff. So, I guess. But, not the greatest. But he is probably easier to pull off than other cards. Darlian Soldier, whenever you reveal this unit, play it on a random row and draw a card. Some of these, I mean, if I drafted a couple reveal cards, I'd just pick up more in at the end and get some decent tempo. But besides that, no. Along with Siren, you need the Moonlight for her to work. Panther, here we go, here's something. Deal 7 damage to an enemy on a road with less than 4 units. This guy's condition isn't too hard to pull off. He's an 11, he does 7 damage. 7 damage doesn't take care of much, that's a problem. But it does damage, so that's alright. And it's 11. Ice Troll, dual enemy. If it is under Biting Frost, deal double damage. If you got the Biting Frost, again, if you're trying to go for a weather deck, I guess, you might as well try him out too. Because in that case, he's 12 power rounds, he's pretty good. The one deck I was trying to build with him with like ogres and stuff, and the guy who boosts ogres doesn't work out so well, turns out, so that's not that fun. I can get him up to a 6 and make him like kill off an 18 power unit that's under Frost, and in that case, he's amazing. Or 12 power unit, making an 18 power play, that's fun. Katawani Revenant, whenever you play the next spell or item, spawn a doomed copy, default copy of this unit on its row. You need the spells and items, and it's really easy to deal with because it's 5 power. It's a really risky draft, and you need the stuff to go with it, but he's better than some of the other choices. Damn Sorceress, there's Cursed unit on this unit's row, deal 7 damage. Slightly harder to pull off than the Panther, because you need a Cursed unit. And Great Warcry, boost an ally by half its power. This guy. Let's say you draft a Manticore. That's 7? Making him... No, that's plus 6. So he's an 11. If you get a Manticore out, and that's something pretty big. And then they can just Mandrake. But he's better than some of these choices. If you drafted like Hegemer or one of those other big units, he'd be really good. Akimara, drain a unit by 3. He's 11 power. I don't know, maybe with the there might be a point to this, but he's just alright. He does 3 damage, gains you 3 health. Hawker Healer, boost 2 allies by 3. 11 power bronze. Not the best, but it's alright. There's a lot of 4 powers in here that just suck. Varied Officer, swap a card and boost self by its base power. Awesome card. You can get rid of that crappy card in your hand that you don't want. That's good enough for me. And then he boosts himself by its base power, which can be useful in some cases. I mean, if you had to draft that botchling and you didn't get the Lumberkin, why not throw it back and make a 15 power bronze play? Spotter, boost self by the base power of revealed bronze or silver unit. Really tricky to pull off. I think reveal might be alright in draft mode if you can get the right cards. But that's the thing, you have to get the right cards for it to work. I mean, with reveal it's different because you got Morin that you can pick at the end if they let us pick him, and then these cards all of a sudden become alright. Like Fire Scorpion. Deal 5 damage to an enemy whenever you reveal this unit, trigger its ability. If you got Morin, it's 15 power bronze. But then you only got a 7 power leader, so... Fire Scorpion, though. If you don't have a revealed unit, it's 10 power, you deal 5 damage. And that's not much damage. Like, if it's below 8 damage, it's like, doesn't take care of much that you need to take care of. Nausicaa Brigade, deal 7 damage to a spying unit. If it was destroyed, strengthen self by 4. This guy would be amazing if you could actually get a 7 power spying unit, but that's not happening. So how much is that again? Because I have not seen spies run this in forever. It's a 16 power bronze. If that goes perfectly, that's really good. But you can't even do the damage if it's like not spying, so that don't work. Viper Witcher, deal 1 damage for each alchemy card in your starting deck. How many alchemy cards are you going to be able to draft? I don't know. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy on each row. Here's a good one. Probably the best dwarf you could draft. Because what? He's 14 power. 14 power bronze if things go right. And that's amazing. As we've seen through all these other crappy cards. Like, we're more than halfway through. This is the best bronze so far. Besides something like Vivicardo Medic. That's a lot. Most of these are like 11 and 10. Tamarian Drummer boosts an ally by 6, 11. And it's on a boost effect, which means you're putting yourself at risk again. He's slightly better than Mahakam Guard though, because I mean Mahakam Guard boosts by 7 and he's a 4. Elven Swordmaster, deal damage equal to this unit's power to an enemy. 10 damage. Ooh. And the best case, maybe you drafted some Dragoons or something, or some of those guys who boost a card in your hand. She might be alright, pretty good to pick up over a lot of these cards. Like over Tamarian Drummer and stuff, I'd pick her up. Because you could always, if you needed to, go with Francesca, if they let us pick her. That would be awesome, because that's a 16 power bronze if you grab her with Francesca. Ride Officer's pretty good, actually, too. That's what I was saying. Werecat, deal 5 damage to enemies and deal 1 damage to all enemies under Blood Moon. 10 damage. 10 power. Ooh. And you need the Blood Moon for its secondary effect to work. And even drafting a Blood Moon's not the greatest, because they can replace it. Or clear skies it. Then you lose out on all value on this guy. Ballista, deal 1 damage to an enemy and up to 4 other enemies with the same power, crude, repeat its ability. Even if you pull off the 4 enemies, it's like 10 power bronze, and that's hard to do. Reaver Hunters, you need so many of these to work. Boost all copies of this unit by 1 wherever they are. Repeat its ability whenever a copy of this unit is played. They get really strong and really cool when you have like 4 of them. But when you have just 1 of them, it's the 7 power. Doesn't do you anything. Heal an allied bronze or silver machine and repeat its ability. Oh my god! This guy gonna be awesome if you actually manage to draft something like a whale harpooner. Oh, that'd be funny. Because with the mixing of factions, you can repeat deploy abilities like Whale Harpooner or that silver card that does 1 damage to everything but the ones on the row that it's on. This thing will be interesting. I mean, you have to draft the machine first, but there's some things that you could pull off some funny stuff with him, since you're not just stuck to Northern Realm machines. Ice Giant boost by 6 if frost anywhere on the board. Yeah. 12 power, if you actually got the frost, and I keep telling you, I don't think weather's going to be great, because it's just so easy to counter. Dow, Deathwish spawn 2 lesser Dows on this unit row. All the Deathwish things are going to suck, except for, I'd go for a Selena Harpy, maybe, just because consume cards aren't as rare, and then you can get value off the eggs. But things like Dow, he's best with, like, Griffin, and you need to pull off a Griffin twice to make it even worth it. And since Deathwish isn't carryover anymore, it's pretty crappy. Spawn 2 Harpy eggs to the left of this unit. 8 power bronze. Not that bad just because you got things like Grand Warrior and Forktail that you could always maybe pick up, or if you got stuck with one of them, then hey, at least you got some decent value out of your 2 bronzes that really suck. Wyvern. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. He's another 11 power bronze. I did never realize there's so many 11 power bronzes in this game that just don't see play because they suck. 5 damage is not enough. Consume the unit to the right, Grand Warrior, and boost self by its power every 2 turns. Repeat its ability on turn start. He's another crappy draft because he's only 6 power, and then you're putting all your units into his power, and then when they reset it or something, he just loses just basically negative value for you. Lamia, deal 4 damage to an enemy. If the enemy is under Blood Moon, deal 7 damage instead. 10 power bronze, and if you pick up the Blood Moon, she's pretty good. 13 power bronze. That's not too bad, but drafting Blood Moons in the first place is risky. But she does look cool. Dalblathana Bomber, spawn incinerating trap on the enemy row. This thing not too bad. Well, you need to hit 2, 4, 3 enemies. If you hit 3 enemies with a bomb, you got a 12 power bronze, and that's better than like 80% of these bronzes, so there you go. Maybe there's a reason to run a draft of Rain Warrior so when somebody uses a Dalblith on a bomber, you can eat the bomb. So Scully Toll has like the best cards. This is crazy. Dwarven Skirmisher. Deal 3 damage to enemy if the unit was not destroyed. Boost self by 3. So 12 power browns. It's looking pretty good to me. And yeah, 3 damage doesn't matter, and you can't kill anything with it. It's not hard to do. Mahakam Defender. Resilience. He's better than some things, but I mean, he's carryover if they don't pop it off. And then if they do pop it off, at least you took care of some of their removal for some of your more important cards. Like if I ended up getting stuck drafting him, I'd probably play him first before I played like a Hawker Smuggler or Dragoon if I actually got one of them. So that way maybe they would ping this thing off, though that'd probably only work in the earlier rounds. Ride Vanguard. Boost elf allies by 1 whenever you swap this card, trigger its ability. 6 power. Elves are a bit easier to draft, but still, you need a decent amount of them before this thing gets you decent value. Tursek Hunter, deal 5 damage. 11 power bronze, not too bad. I'm thinking 11 power is actually pretty good now. Considering that like all these 3 powers, all these 4 powers for the most part are just completely dead cards for you to draft. Mock and volunteers and crap, what are you going to do with them? Tursek Axeman, whenever an ally in the opposite row is damaged, boost self by 1, 2 armor. There's a decent amount of damaging cards and lacerate and stuff. This guy might be like your best choice. And I mean, you damage what, 4 units? 5 units? And he gets some value. He's not the best. He's a little bit better than some of these cards. But he's worse than Tursek Hunter in my opinion, just because he's not consistent. Imperial Brigade, boost self by 2 for each spying enemy. Boost self by 2 whenever a spying enemy appears. You gotta have the spies. And just drafting the spies sucks. Like Emissary is like negative value, so you probably wouldn't want to be drafting him in the first place. Imperial Enforcer is a little bit better though, because at least they get to do 2 damage on the end of at the end of the turn. So you're gonna get a 2 damage ping every turn that you can target with, which is important. So after 3 turns, this thing becomes a really good value. But before that, not too great. And I mean, at least he's got some support for your spies if you end up drafting one, but still, even with his secondary effect, that's pretty decent. Combat Engineer, boost an ally by 5 crew. He's 11 power, so he's not too bad. And he has that crew tag, which you might be able to make use of. Battering Ram, deal 3 damage to an enemy. If the enemy is destroyed, deal 3 damage to another enemy. 12 value. 3 power enemy, or well, we see how many bronze 3 powers are. There's a lot of them, so they're probably going to be 1 power units that just suck. So it's not too bad of a draft, but it can just end up being a 9 damage. That's not the best. Cockatrice, reset a unit. Pretty cool because there's a lot of boosting cards. There's a lot of boosting cards. So just resetting unit could net you decent value with a 6 power body, and it can reset your injured units. Poor flanking infantry, spawn left flank infantry on right flank infantry to the left and right of this unit respectively. 8, 10? 10 in swarming. These swarming cards, just because there's other things that can go with them, aren't too bad. And he's a 10, so he's more vulnerable to lacerate, so it is a bit more risky. This one's good. Look at this, another Scully Toll bronze. It's good. Spawn a Doom default copy of this unit. Pretty cool because he's 12 power. That works out. Easy 12 power. Baba Ghazi, resilience, consume an ally and boost self by its power. Not too many things that you want to be consuming, because you're putting that unit's power into another unit, and that's just risky. But he does have resilience, and if you drafted Slain a Harpy, you get some value out of that. That's about it. Not good. Reinforced Trebuchet, deal 2 damage to enemy, crude, repeat its ability. 9 damage. I mean 9 power. Ooh. A lot of these bronzes are easy to go over because they're just straight up value. Deal 1 damage to 3 adjacent enemies, crude, increase damage by 1. Again, 10 power. And in the best case, they don't have armor. Ready at night. If this unit has no armor, boosted by 2 and give 2 armor at the turn end. This thing will punish weather. Any guy who drafts weather, you're gonna this guy will be great for. So I'd pick one up. Why not? I mean, compared to some of these other cards, this thing, you put him in the weather, he's just going to keep getting stronger and stronger and totally negate their weather. Siege support. Here we go. We're starting getting some decent cards. Whenever an ally appears, boost by 1. If it's machine, also give it 1. This guy's worth drafting. Especially if you got some swarming. This is something you're going to have to deal with on your opponent's side, which is why you want things like Azur's Thunder, because things like this and the next one, Red Knight Elect, this unit has his armor at the end of turn, boosts chasing units by 1. That's +2 every turn. And as we saw, like every bronze before this is like at best 11. So this guy sticks around for 2 turns, he just became a really good bronze. He gets more than 2 turns with his armor, he's going to be amazing. Wild Hunt Warrior, deal 3 damage to enemy. If the enemy is destroyed or under Biting Frost, boost self by 2. There's lots of 3 powers that your opponent can be stuck with drafting. So his ability shouldn't be too hard to pull off, but yeah, it's alright. It can be just a 10 power bronze and be totally dead to you, but there's a lot of 3 powers. Drown or move an enemy to the opposite row, then deal 2 damage. If that row is under hazard, deal 4 damage instead. Even if you had the hazard out, it's an 11 power. Sure, it moves something into the weather, but that's about it. I mean, he'd be kind of safer to move that Reddited Knight out of the weather if your opponent is doing that to you. Dalblethana Archer, deal 3 damage, then 1 damage. 11 power, that's pretty good. Hawker Support, boost an ally in your hand by 3. Decent card. It's 10, and it's future tempo. Like, if you draft some of these, you'd probably have a good time because you can just set up for round 3 and basically give up round 2. I mean, round 1, and then win round 3 because you have a bunch of boosted cards in your hand. Dalblethana Bowman, deal 2 damage to an enemy whenever an enemy moves, deal 2 damage to it. Whenever this unit moves, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. There's a decent amount of movement cards. You get some movement cards, this guy will net you decent value. 11. If you move it once, you get 11. So that's that, but you're going to need the movement cards to even get 11. So basically a 9 power bronze here. If you get a Zoltan though or something, then yeah, I'd pick this up. Hawker Smuggler, one of the best cards to draft. Whenever an enemy appears, boost health by 1. Simple, infinite value. If they're running swarming, punishes it so hard. I will be drafting Azur's Thunder and stuff just for this card because cards like this are going to be stupid strong. Along with Denim Light Longship. Not as strong as a Hawker Smuggler, but it does give you 1 point per turn. So after 4 turns, you got 11 point bronze. And Crate Longship, deal 2 damage to a random enemy. Repeat this ability whenever you discard a card. Basically 9 damage, or if you actually drafted like Wolfsbane or something and decide to go with King Braun, this thing could be worth it, but that's about it. That card used to be so fun in discard Scalaga. And Crate Armorsmith, heal 2 allies and give them 3 armor. Huh. There is a lot of damaging cards, but in most cases you're going to be using damaging cards to completely kill something, not just to injure them. But there are a lot of ones like Dalblethana Archer and Panther and stuff that don't do that much damage, so he can probably net you a decent amount of value. Or if they're being cheeky and running weather, there you go. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. If it is spying, deal 6 damage instead. Just as crappy as the other one, only crappier. Because you have to have the spying unit for it to do the big damage. And besides that, it's a 10. Now's a good surgeon. Here we go. Punishing weather cards. More of them. Clear hazards from its row and boost an ally or revealed unit in your hand by 3. This guy, if you don't have any weather clear yet, pick him up. Definitely going to at least want some weather clear. And, I mean, he's 10, so that's not too bad. Maganel, crappy card. You need to reveal cards for it to work. But if you're going for the reveal archetype, because there's a decent amount of them, and you want to take that risk, pick it up. I mean, if you're forced into some reveal cards because you got some bad choices, then yeah, pick this guy up too and pick Morin as your leader. A Racket Spore, move to a random row and deal 1 damage to an enemy On turn start, Death Wish, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. The best Death Wish card, just because it does 1 damage every turn, so after 4 turns you got 11. If they kill it, it's going to do 4 damage anyway and make it an 11 power. Even more, because they're probably going to have to use something like Alzur's Thunder to kill it, in which case they over-wasted 2 damage, so you're going to get 13 out of this guy. It's not half bad. Whenever this unit power changes except when reset, boost self by 2. Here's another card that answer was weather. This guy will just totally cancel all your opponent's weather if you just stick him in the weather. Because he'll sit there and he'll take the 2 damage, then he'll boost by 2. And then he'll repeat over and over. And then, I mean, Machimails and stuff make him stronger. He's a decent one to pick up over some of these, not like over... I might, if you don't have weather clear yet, like a mage at all, or any of these type of single bronze weather clear units, I'd pick them up, but if you already have that stuff, I'd probably go with an Arachnospore. Unless you draft a bunch of boosting cards. Next, we got Tursek Veteran. Strengthen all other clan Turseks units in your hand, deck, or on the side of the board by 1. Too hard to pull off, and it's not worth the 1 boost. You have to play like so many of these to start gaining value. Even with a bear, like say you boost that bear and you make him a 13 power play instead. Beastmaster. Dinamo Warship, deal 1 damage to the same unit 4 times. He's 11 power and he does 4 separate pings, so if you picked up an Axeman, it's decent, or the silver guy, he's decent. But just like a lot of the other 11 ones, just do a tiny bit of damage. It's not much damage, but 11 power is not too bad. Alba Armored Cavalry, whenever an ally appears, boost self by 1. Swarming deck. If you got a lot of swarming stuff, this guy's going to be amazing. Even if you don't, he's not going to be half bad, because there's plenty of cards that just spawn 2 units. So after 4 turns, he's got you great value for bronze in draft mode so far. So as long as you play a unit per turn. And if you play more than 1 unit per turn, this guy's going to be great. I'm definitely going to be picking this guy up if I get a choice. Wild Hunt recur, like things like this. Boost all Wild Hunt units allies by 1. Whenever another Wild Hunt ally appears, boost it by 1. That is so... You have to have the Wild Hunt allies. You have to have 4 of them for it to be 11. This thing sucks. If it gets destroyed or locked... Oh no, it doesn't do that anymore, but still. You need 4 Wild Hunt allies. A Duranian Mauler? Deal 4 damage to an enemy? He's 11, but he only does 4 damage. Just like all the other 11s. Deal 4 damage. If resurrected, deal 6 damage instead. Probably the best one out of the 11 small damage units. Because you can at least res him and deal 6 damage the next time, in which case he's a 13 power bronze and you probably use a Priest of Freya or something. So that's a 14 power play. He's better than all the other ones. All the other crappy 11s. Werewolf, boost by 7 on contact with full moon. You need the full moon. God, these bronzes suck. Holy crap, I thought some of them would be really good, but they are. Some of the bronzes are really strong, and then the rest are just trash. Boost by immune. He's immune. He's 7. He's bad. Siege Tower. Boost self by 2. Crude. Repeat its ability. It's 10 power bronze, which is looking good. Field Medic. Boost soldier allies by 1. If you manage to draft a bunch of soldiers, sure. If not, no. You need to have 3 soldiers on the field for this guy to be 11. It's basically an 8 power bronze. Kadawani Cavalry. Destroy units' armor, then boost self by the amount destroyed. This card's pretty good, considering the rest, because armor is going to be somewhere in every deck, pretty much. And if you draft some armor, then you can eat it, and get rid of it, and get some value off of it. And 3 armor isn't too hard to eat. Reinforced Trebuchet. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy on turn end. This card, 3 turns, and you got a good bronze. There you go. After that, it just starts gaining you really good value. This is a pretty good draft. Resident Elite. Whenever this unit armor reaches 0, boost self by 5. He has 4 armor. You're not going to draw ways to remove armor, but he sort of punishes weather, since when the armor gets destroyed, he's going to boost up by 5, and he'll block that weather for you for a bit. But that's a lot to count on, and he's only 8 power in that case. Arrakis Behemoth, whenever you consume a unit, spawn Arrakis hatchling on a random row, repeat up to 3 times. Yeah. You need the consume cards. I guess if you were forced to draft a Forktail or Van Warrior, why not? Vrihid Dragoon. Here's another Scully Toll card that's good. Boost a random non-spying unit in your hand by 1 on turn end. Multiple turns, this thing's going to grab you later tempo, and it's going to be amazing. Definitely one of the top bronzes to draft here. Dwarven Mercenary. Move a unit to this row on its side if it's an ally, boosted by 3. He's 11 power. He moves something. He's alright. Raging Berserker. Whenever this unit is damaged or weakened, transform into a Raging Bear, who's at 12 power. Guy's not half bad. Stuff there is. And he's sort of like punishes weather, but not so much. He's one of the better 8 powers, but definitely not the best one. I definitely take a Reddit and Elite over him. Tursek Skirmisher. Whenever this unit is resurrected, strengthened by 3, you need to res him a lot of times. You res him once, he's 11 power, but you're probably only going to get 1 Priest of Freya if you even see one, so it's going to be hard to make him higher than an 8. Tursek Archer, deal 1 damage to 3 units, he's 11 power. His effect is kind of unique with the 1 damage. Might be useful against some type of swarm decks or popping Selene Harpy eggs. But he's 11. I think he's better than some of the other 11s that do random damage, just because you can split up his damage, and that can be pretty handy, and use it on yourself. Rot Tosser. Spawn a cow carcass on an enemy row. This guy is going to be pretty good. Actually, wow, we got a good Nilfgaardian card here. Just because if he destroys anything 3 or higher, there you go, you got 11 power bronze. If he does more than that, it's going to be amazing. And there's a lot of low power units that your opponent can draft that are just crap. So they might just throw one of those away to the cow. But still, most of those are 3 powers, in which case you got 11 power bronze. Drummond Warmonger. Discard a bronze card from your deck. One of the best just straight up 8 power cards, just because you can get rid of one of those crappy cards in your deck so you don't draw into it for consistency. Not too bad. Ancrate Greatsword. After 2 turns, if damage, heal self and strengthen 2 by turn start. Definitely worth drafting if you don't have Weather Clear, because this guy will immensely punish weather. He'll just keep strengthening, and you'll end up with a huge Ancrate. Farseer. If any other allies or units in hand are boosted during your turn, boost self by 2 on turn end. You boost 2 units. This thing's 12 power. Really good. Because there's a lot of boosting cards, and a lot of them you're going to be forced to draft. Like Dwarven Mercenary's not that bad. So I mean, you boost 2 units, this thing's got you some decent value for a bronze. Standard Bear. Boost an ally by 2 whenever you play a soldier. There's quite a few soldiers, but you need to play 2 for this thing to be 12. Otherwise it's 8. He's not too bad. I mean, if you see a couple soldiers, like Tursek Archer, Tursek Skirmisher, there's plenty of soldiers in this game. Vrihid Dragoons are soldier, Dwarven Mercenaries are soldiers. He's worth picking up because you're probably bound to see a couple soldiers. Rot Fiend Deathwish. Deal 2 damage to units on the opposite row. It's kind of hard to trigger the Deathwish. You need something like a Cyclops or Consume unit to try to get some value out of it. He's just an 8 power. And then maybe he can save you from dead drafting of a Ran Warrior or something. Or like a Forktail. And Crate Whaler. Move an enemy on the opposite row, then deal damage equal to the number of units on that row. Really good. Just need to move it to something with two units for it to be 11 power bronze. And then it can just get better after that. And plus, you can draft something like that guy who resets the machine's ability and redeploys it. And then in that case, you got some even more value there. Forktail, consume 2 allies and boost self by its power. Only good with slaying a harpy. You're not running a consume deck. And then you're running the risk of getting marjoramed or scorched, and just you basically converted 3 cards into 1. And then when it gets destroyed, you're gonna get wrecked. Slave Hunter! Charm a bronze enemy with 3 power or less. It's gonna be great. There's plenty of 3 powers. Plenty. So there you go. He drafts if he steals a 2 power, you got 12. And that's even good. And with a 3 power, you got 14. And that's amazing. I'd pick this guy up. Definitely. Katawani Knight, boot self by 5 if played from the deck. You gotta play him from the deck, and that's not even easy to do when you're trying to do that combo, so no. Curse Knight, transform a cursed ally into default copy of this unit. He's a good answer to Iris. He's probably one of the... He's like not as good as Standard Bearer, but he's alright. Just because he can answer things like Iris, or if you draft some cursed units, he can transform them. Not the best, but hey, he's an Iris answer. But then you're just counting on your opponent drafting an Iris, which is, what are the chances of that? Sentry, you will be happy when you transform that Iris, though. Sentry boosts all allied copies of soldiers by 1, by 2. You need the copies of soldiers. That's hard to pull off. So he's basically 10 power bronze. Even if you got lucky enough to draft a Slave Hunter, if there's a better choice than this, I would not pick him, or Slave Infantry. Katawani Surgeon, clear hazards from its row, 3 armor crew. He's alright. He's an alright weather clear. And it's worth having at least 1 or 2 of those. So I'd pick him up over a lot of these. Necker Warrior. Yeah, here's one. Choose a bronze ally and add 2 copies of it to the bottom of your deck. They go to the bottom of your deck, so how are you going to get them? Unless you got hyper thinning. And in that case, yeah. If you got hyper thinning, sure, because you can make copies of that 1 good bronze that you actually managed to draft. But that's about it. I guess if you draft this guy, you could draft this guy and then draft something like a Reaver Hunter or something that searches out another copy of that unit. In which case, this guy would be worth it. Griffin, trigger Death Wish for Bronze Ally. Death Wish units suck, but they're better than some of the cards, so if you got a Death Wish unit, why not? Even if you trigger an Arachid Spore, he's 13 power. If you trigger a Dow, he's 17. So, pretty good. Pretty good if you actually have the Death Wish unit they got stuck with. Variety Brigade, clear hazard from its row and move a unit to this row on its side. Weather clear, and it moves something. Meh. It's weather clear at least. Savage Bear, whenever a unit is played from either hand or on your opponent's side, deal 1 damage to it. Has to be from hand, so it's not as good as Hawker Smuggler, but it's alright, because it'll pretty much give you one damage per turn. So after 2 turns, if your opponent playing a unit, if they don't use one of their removals on this, it's got you 11 power there. Berserker Marauder, boost self by 1 for each damage on a cursed or cursed ally. If you all you need is 2 damage units for this guy to be value. That's not, considering how many just low damage cards there are that are just better than a lot of these crappy bronzes. Bronzes are going to be so bad to draft. Oh, this is going to suck for that. He's worth it. Just because 11 is like really good. But I mean, of course, if you got like a Hawker Smuggler or some one of these amazing bronzes to draft, pick them. Then we got Haymay Scald, boost an ally from a clan of your choice by 1. No. Ancrate Blacksmith, strengthen an ally by 2 and give it 2 armor. So he's 11 power bronze, and that's pretty good from what we're seeing so far. Plus you get 2 armor. That's better than a lot of these 11 power bronzes, and a lot better than a lot of the 3 and 1 powers. They're just totally dead cards. Alchemist, reveal 2 cards. some of the reveal cards are alright, so if you, I'd pick them up just because if I see any reveal cards, they'll actually get me some value. Of course, if there's something better, of course, draft that, but he could end up being your best choice. Abandon tutor, swap a card in your hand with a bronze special card from your deck. The limitation of bronze special card kind of sucks. But if you did get some bronze special cards, this guy could save you, because you could get rid of one of those 3 powers that you were forced to draft and at least get something halfway decent out of it, like Mahakamail. Ancient Foglet, boost by 1 if Impendral Fog is on the board on turn end. He's 10 power. He's a big 10 power body. At least he has that going for him, even if you don't have the fog. And that's decent, because there are some cards that can interact with bigger bodies. Ancient Foglet, it's not half bad. Archgriffin, clear hazard on its row, one of the best weather clear cards just because he's 10 power. You definitely want a couple of them at least, just to totally shut down those guys who want to try to draft full weather. Definitely wouldn't pick them over, like what? Savage Bear maybe? Or, yeah, Savage Bear. This guy, Slave Hunter, because there's a good one. Wow, there's like 10 good bronzes. This is crazy. Wild Hunt Rider. Increase the damage dealt by biting frost on opposite row by 1. You gotta draft weather, but hey, he's 10 power. 10 power just beat stick body. And that's alright. Vrihid Necrophyte. Boost 2 random units in your hand by 1. This guy's great. All the Scully Tull bronzes are great for draft mode. Pretty much boost just because he's 12 power and that's like really high, and he sets up future tempo instead of current tempo, which I like, because if you don't count so much on round 1, you can guarantee round 2 if you have a lot of these type of cards, or round 3 if you have a lot of these type of cards. Elba Spearman boosts self by 1 whenever either player draws a card. Nope. At least he's a 10 power body, but he's one of the worst 10 power bodies. He's better than Wild Hunt Rider, worse than Archgriffin for sure, and harder to pull off than Ancient Foglet. Alpha Werewolf, spawn a wolf on each side of this unit on contact with full moon. You need the full moon. It's not easy to get. If you got full moon, sure. Why not? Try for it. At least he's 10 power. Infiltrator, toggle the unit spying status. Another 10 power that does pretty much nothing, but if you actually had to draft something like, where are they? These guys. Yeah, I'd pick them up as a 10 power. Because these guys aren't getting you much value without that. And then all of a sudden these guys become halfway decent. Because they become 13. And that's really high. Dimum Smuggler. Return a bronze unit from your graveyard to your deck. Pretty good. Pretty good, because you could return that one good bronze you got back to your deck and hope to see it again. On the 10 power body, that's not half bad. Here's another good 10 power weather clear. Clear hazards on the row and move 2 allies to it. Not as good as Archgriffin, but still, it's alright just because you have to move 2 allies to it, which is not helpful in most cases, unless they got multiple weathers and you only have one way to clear one of them, because then you're just setting yourself up better for a lacerate. Trindam Infantry, 4 armor. No. At least his 10 power. It's about all he's got going for him. And the 4 armor actually makes him better than something like Alpha Werewolf or Wild Hunt Rider. Bridge Troll, move a hazard on an enemy row to a different enemy row. Could be pretty cool, I mean, if you could move hazard from on your side, but you can only do it on the enemy side. And you're not, only with Blood Moon is this card any good, because you can reapply the Blood Moon effect with him. Fiend, no ability, 11, doesn't matter, he's 11 power. Any of these 11 powers. Vrihid Sapper, yes, 11 power. I'll take it. After 2 turns, flip over and turn start. Empire, discard all copies of this unit from your deck. You're not going to get copies of him to even thin your deck, but still 11 power. Same with Cyclops. Cyclops, here we go, this one's great. Just because you can deal with something on your opponent's side and chuck something at it. Any of their engines, there you go. And he's 11 power on top of it. Master Disguise, conceal 2 cards. no way to get value out of that. And Crate Warrior deal 1 damage to himself, so he's an 11 power. 11 power. 12! Here we go, best bronze. Reveal a random card in your hand, 2 armor. He's 12 power and he has 2 armor. It's the best beat stick bronze in the game. But that is about it for the bronzes. Holy crap, there's a lot of them and a lot of them suck. Wow. Drafting bronzes is going to be harsh. I mean, you could get just as screwed as you can in gold. Silvers are like the best. Silvers seem like the best thing to draft because you have a decent amount of decent cards in the silvers. Gold, you have a lot of conditional cards and stuff that can just screw you, and then bronzes are the worst. Because even with 4 choices, there are just so many that suck. Blue Mountain Elite, Racket's Drone, Tamarian Infantry, Blue Stripe Scout, Blue Stripe Command, Haymace Shield Maiden, Slizzard, all these cards are crap. Dalblethon a Century, Ambassador, Emissary, Vandal Elite in most cases, Dwarven Agitator. Like, holy crap, you got way more bronzes that are just gonna be bad to draft over good ones. So, that's about it for this one, guys. See you guys in the next one. Have a good one.